We could do that so that there's a conditional dismissal of August, but that there would be no writ without a hearing. I don't, and here's the reason I'm saying that. The issue with what's now happened with funding in this county, my head is still about to explode from a Wednesday morning meeting that I had because the amount of funding lessening as we go into the summer to save people's houses. So normally under the circumstance, we'd be able, quite frankly, if we were in the winter, which is another weird thing, we'd likely be able to find funding to pay this back balance. Gracious enough to share with myself and counsel the email that was sent. The nature, I don't know the entire nature of the procedure that the defendant is undergoing. However, one thing that is stated in there that shed some light for the court is that she indicates to be available next week. I'm not going to adjourn it to next week because I don't know that there's really an issue ultimately that this court is going to come to. So I'm going to issue the writ, but delay its execution and indicate that it can be executed no earlier than the 29th. All right. So that way she's got to the end of the month and she's done. Counsel posed a good question that is to trying to make sure that it's final. I wish a lot of things in my life were final. If somebody comes in and says something, I think I'm obligated to listen, but the intent of the court in doing this is that this is it. It's done. We're one or two ways it's going to happen at the end of this month. Right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. When we locate it, I have to just put on there.
Not prior to the 20th.
Yeah, I have to be exit forever. Real Properties versus Lieutenant Patrick. Are these?
Okay, another Jimmy Hart on behalf of Beal Properties.
The first two are, got it. Your name? Simple. Your name, sir?
Matata Patrick.
All right. Well, where are we in this case?
Your Honor, the rent to retain is $2,980.32 with costs of $176.32 for a total of $3,162.64. We're asking for a writ date of May 18th.
All right. Anybody? Yes. Your position with this is you can restate it for the record. Your position with this case? Yes. Okay. So what were you going to tell me?
So there's correspondence with the actual homeowner that there's an agreement where we would continue to pay the rent that we've been paying. In addition to the utility bills that I do a utility allowance for, which were done on yesterday, as a matter of fact. And then we would continue to seek alternate funding for the back rent, as well as find Mr. Matata a new unit to go to. And then my agency could then, if we couldn't seek an alternate community resource to pay for his back rent or pay a portion of that, we could then pay that entire back rent at that point once he leaves the unit. And that's in correspondence. There's an entire email thread with that the previous attorney should have access to. The one that was here a week ago.
All right. So
Ms. Hall, I believe the name was.
yeah. So what's really happening is the rent's going to be paid going forward.
It has been for the last 2 months. We've paid 2 payments already of $1,760, plus have done 2 utility allowances for Mr. Matata as well.
So what months would those be?
It was March and it was April, and then I just delivered one. Yes. Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. It was a little late because our printing machine was down. I delivered it to the new address on Michigan Avenue in the Dropbox.
So that payment must not have been taken off of this account. And the only reason Okay, the only reason I'm saying that is because the number claimed owed went up 1 month, but if what you're indicating happened, then it's gonna go back to that one figure where I have a static amount of back rent. Okay,
Correct.
all right. No, that's okay. So what are we gonna do then? On the case, I get that rent's being paid going forward, but I don't know.
And then homeowner, I'm not sure, I assumed there was correspondence with them. He had agreed, he said, put it in letterhead, which I attached to the email as he suggested with the terms, so I'm not exactly sure.
But go ahead, yeah.
Your Honor, my client has indicated that what he is willing to accept as a conditional dismissal with the terms that have been laid out before the court.
Okay, I guess I don't have a problem with it, but I don't want to end up as the one thing that I didn't hear. Is there a date that he's going to move, or has that been resolved?
For alternate housing right now.
Okay, that's gonna be right. No, I get it. I guess that's gonna be my problem with the conditional dismissal because there isn't an end.
Well,
Oh, and
I would raise the question then, is there a reasonable expectation he'd be out by the end of June? Because we put at the end of June date in there. If not, then we're back to the question you pose, Your Honor.
yeah, but I don't know if that's realistic under. I mean, I can't force somebody to agree to that date. It sounds to me like the parties are working together so that everything stays static. The one thing that's missing is that end date. And how many people are in his family? Do you know? Is it just him?
So
Okay, that's gonna be, okay. Now I understand. That's gonna be the problem, because you gotta find a unit for 7.
and the family has no income, so that's been the issue, accumulating late fees, and there have been some fees that have been attached that our grant could not cover, so I had to find, for the last several years, we've been working with him, community resources to cover these fees. And at this point, we've just ran out of funding for those resources. He's access to the ESG funding through SOS several weeks ago, which was the max at that point. And so we've met that for the year already.
So he's already gone through SOS, got the 3.
Correct. My agency, though, I was confirmed with my supervisor on Thursday. We're getting some additional funding for housing in June. What that looks like, I'm not entirely sure. We could put some of that funding towards that balance at that
Is this
point.
coming from the county?
No, sir, I'm not sure what the funding is. If it's
Okay.
grant or.
Gotcha. Okay, no, the other reason I'm asking is because everything is now messed up with funding
Yeah.
in a big way. So let me ask this. If the back balance got paid, are they going to be able to stay or no? I mean,
Our client indicates yes, Judge.
okay. So,
My grant, unfortunately, we can't pay that back rent until he's out of the unit.
because nobody wants to make my life easy. Okay. And it's fine.
Client indicates, Judge, if the court is comfortable with putting either a July or an August date to give them more time, we could put that in the conditional dismissal if the court is comfortable with it.
I'd be comfortable with this because we could do that so that there's a conditional dismissal of August, but that there would be no writ without a hearing. I don't, and here's the reason I'm saying that. the issue with what's now happened with funding in this county is my head is still about to explode from a Wednesday morning meeting that I had regarding that. Because the amount of funding lessening as we go into the summer to save people's housing. So normally under the circumstance, we'd be able, quite frankly, if we were in the winter, which is another weird thing, we'd likely be able to find funding to pay this back balance and then move forward. I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen. In particular, if he's already tapped into the resources, it's not going to happen. So I don't have a problem, and I'd appreciate if there was an August date, but that there be a hearing prior to the issuance of that. But as a part of that conditional dismissal, his current monthly rent has to be paid forward so that this amount doesn't get higher.
So that's what we've agreed to.
Okay. Then I don't have a problem if we do an August date, but there'd have to be a hearing. And again, it's just because we're in so much flux. He's got to find a place for 7 people. But I'd be comfortable doing that. Would that work for you, sir? All right. So
So we'd have an end date of end of August, and there would by necessity be a hearing prior to the issuance of the writ.
correct.
I'll get that drafted and filed.
All right. So I'll mark this conditionally dismissed and then submit the paperwork to me. Sir, I do have to advise you that you're appearing here, you're not represented by counsel. Once you sign on to the conditional order dismissal, and I think it's clear what has to happen. They're going to be paying your rent. Got that? Going forward, so there's no balance. And then they're going to be looking for housing for you, but nothing would happen until August. You understand that? All right. And then should you not have secured housing by August, there would be a hearing before this court before an issuance of the writ. You understand that? Those are the basic terms.
Okay.
All right. And so since you're unrepresented by counsel, once you sign off on that, you have 3 business days from the date of my signature to move this court to set that aside. Believe that there's some confusion on your part, some misrepresentation, something you didn't understand, or some right you didn't assert. Okay, that doesn't mean I would grant it, but you'd have that time frame. Got it? Okay. Thank you, folks. Is that it for you, counsel? Or?
No, Judge, I have one more. This is going to make my head explode.
Okay. Are his? Oh, they are.
They are.
Graham Hartman versus Fry. Well, let me just call all 4 because I think we've got an issue. Mika Fry, Naja Brown, Going Robinson, and Raisha Sen. I'll just come up because I mean I'm going to have a similar one. They can just line up down that side. All right, who do I have here? Your name.
Morning.
So the one I'm missing is Fry.
Okay, SK, is that,
It's just got any.
this is okay, SK Properties. Yes. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Noel South appearing on behalf of the plaintiff NKSK Properties. And I
What? Who are what case do you have? Are you trying to, is that an appearance you have?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me see the appearance. You're in the next block.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all
I
right.
have,
You
I thought that,
just had me
but
confused.
I was confused. I thought that case had been called. So,
Okay, so
okay.
this is Ram Partners versus these individuals. And
I told you this is gonna make my head explode, Judge.
all right. So the last time we were here, we had a problem with these properties because these were filed. These are really Arbor One cases, right? And the part that I'm a bit confused about is, so for filing in the name of Beal, then there was some indication sent out that Ram Partners is now the management company.
That is what I understand as well, Judge. So we're gonna have to file amended complaints.
Yes, but I don't know what I have amended complaint.
Oh, they've already filed them. Okay, I was told
Well,
filed.
they filed them. Gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm actually here for Ram Partners. No, because it was under
Who
Beagle.
are you?
I'm the property manager for the property.
Okay,
I just found out.
what's your name?
An hour ago, Jillian Bailey.
Okay. So here's gonna be the problem. In my mind, because I've got to sort this out. The last time we were here, the balances were of such a level, at least on 3 out of the 4, if I'm recalling, that they covered a significant time period. Typically, that might be okay, except that these are really Arbor One cases. Arbor One has, there's significant litigation in our circuit court as well as the federal court. And so I don't know, first of all, whether this management company or whether Arbor One can proceed on these. And that may be part of the problem. The other issue in that is that since some of the amounts were of the nature that they were, even if on X date they could proceed, I'm worried that the back balances were part of something else. And it worried me even more because a new management company came in, so they're going to be looking at the number that they would have. I get that. But they may or may not know that part of that number may have been dealt with or disposed of to the extent that they can proceed. May have been dealt with in the circuit court. I think my head just exploded. I think it just went just Friday.
Misery loves company, Judge.
All right. So that's where we are. I don't know what go ahead.
Judge, I was brought into this late yesterday afternoon. As you know, Ms. Holm has been handling this. She's on trial today. What I have when I discussed this with her, she said that she's having difficulty accessing the circuit court ROA to get the actual documents that she needs to know whether or not this court has stayed. And I suggested, and I have not had the time because I was on trial yesterday, whether we should talk with the prosecutor and see whether or not they can tell us where their cases are. And so that's my hope, is to sometime next week sit down with Ms. Holm when we're both in the office together, get a strategy together, and maybe contact the prosecuting attorney to find out where their cases are, to tell you whether or not you can go forward on these. Because she has tried, and I know she's been working on this, trying to access the ROA for the circuit court unsuccessfully, to access whatever order there is that tells you essentially whether or not you have the right.
Right. whether or not these cases could go forward. I will tell you, and just to back up, because I don't know that I told Ms. Holden. After the last hearing, or maybe the one before that, I can't remember. Because there was some confusion on my part, I contacted the other side of that litigation, that being legal services, to try and determine whether or not these folks were well, I was really more focused on the units, because there were some units that didn't have COC, some did, and I don't know when all of that transpired. You want to say something, because you always do. Go ahead, no.
Stating that it was a property management, that's been nice. I moved in, I was moved from the buildings that were not under compliance, and I was moved into a building that also was not under compliance when I moved in, and I have the email stating that when I withdrew my rent and everything. Also, I just want to mention.
Well, what time period are you talking about?
This was December 3rd of 2025, and I have the email from the property manager stating that they did not have even temporary certificates at that time. So.
In December of 2025.
Yes, and then I continued to email from there. I shouldn't
Go
say
ahead.
to email from that point on, I kind of got ignored, and then so reaching kind of before I came here to court, I made an agreement with Jessica Nice. She said I did not have to pay this balance to avoid the eviction process, and I do have emails and paperwork regarding that. So when I was supposed to leave, I was summoned to court.
Jessica with who?
Works with Bill Properties.
Okay. Anything you want to tell me?
It's got a fiction on my record, so I can't go anywhere. So when I do apply, so I'm
You're trying to figure out what you can do if you want. I got you.
stressed out.
And
You're stressed out?
I'm 50 years old. I want to be on.
You're not 50. Don't even try.
I'm
All right. All right. All right. So first of all, quit stressing. Because you stress, then I stress, then things get bad.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Robinson, anything you want to tell me, sir?
I was told the same thing you were.
And okay. And so counsel, just so that, because you weren't part of those other cases, I had about before the case got filed against Harbor One et al., the federal part of that came in. I still had, up until sometime last month, initially starting 50 Harbor One cases. Those cases were working themselves through in some way, but then got stopped because of the circuit court matter. At some point, and again, I'm sort of unclear, the circuit court was not preventing this court from going forward on those cases. I was just reluctant because there were global agreements going. What these two are telling me makes sense, okay? Because there were buildings where the certificate of compliance was not there. And I can't tell you off the top of my head which buildings those were at this point. I mean, I could look back at my records. But that rent, at some point, the circuit court ruled, because we had to get rid of escrow that was in our accounts. And at some point, that escrow was given back to the tenants, either in full or at a 50% rate, because they couldn't theoretically charge rent. But the money could have been used for the repairs. And I think Judge Kunke did something along those lines regarding that. We got rid of, ultimately, all cases where there was escrow and got those resolved. Additionally, with that, the cases that were here brought in the name of Arbor One were all dismissed. And so I was, when I found out, because they were filed in the name of Beal, and now they're filed in the name of Ram. Once I found out that it was Arbor One, I think it was Mr. Robinson that told me, he just blurted it out, and I stopped immediately because I didn't know that they could proceed. Okay. And also, counsel, I don't know what date, it was a Tuesday, I think, in April. Counsel, was it Bodman that was representing? They were representing Arbor One. And on the day that we got rid of the last of the cases that were before me, part of that large group, they made no mention, which I think they would have, that there were more Arbor One cases coming.
I could confirm that with Bodman's attorney.
Okay, because I think that may be, certainly you can go to the prosecutor about where things are, but you may want to also go to them as to whether or not, because it may be, and Ram may or may not know that, it may be that they can't at this point proceed on these cases. But if you can, I mean, I don't mind hearing them, but because I like banging my head against the wall. But I don't mind hearing them, but it's just, I just want to make sure everybody's operating in the right way. And and I just want to make this clear. I don't doubt what those two are saying. I think, unbeknownst to a lot of people, these balances on some of these things got wiped. And not everybody knows. Because that's what was happening on a number of different cases and units. All right, so what do you want me to do? Because I'm going to go back and rest for a minute.
Well, before you do that, Judge, perhaps we should adjourn.
Yes. And how much time?
I've got to coordinate with at least 2 other offices, Judge.
You guys are all still in your units, right? Okay. Why don't you think if I kick them out to the 29th? Just do the last Friday in the month and then figure out where we are. Does that work?
That should work, Judge.
All right. Then I'll adjourn these to May 29th, 2026. Time 3 p.m. in person. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
You, young lady, you told me the last time you were on Zoom that you were all stressed out. You were giving me a bunch of stuff. All right. Now listen, just listen to me. All of this is confusing. I get it. It's confusing in some respects to me because there are all these moving pieces. Told me about some of the issues you had. Do not stress out about this. Okay. You're not going anywhere. Nothing is going to happen until I say it's going to happen, and I haven't said so. So I do not want you worrying about anything. You hear me? You promise me? I don't care if you worry, because none of you worry. Okay. You guys have a great weekend. Versus Megan Davidson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dan Shemke, appearing on behalf of Tracy Group, plaintiff.
Tenant did not check in. All right, would you like to take a default on this?
I would.
Raise your right hand to be sworn. Solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, go ahead. What is your claim?
Your Honor, I represent the LLC, I believe they are. I'm familiar with their books and records with respect to the property in question in this matter. The total outstanding rent is $20,800. To that, we've requested the addition of $300 in late fees. And then I would ask for the statutory attorney fee of $75.
And the total on that,
The total on that is $21,175.
$21,175.
Correct.
Court will grant judgment to the plaintiff a default for possession with redemption amount in the amount requested, as well as a money judgment. I believe, did they appear the last time? I don't have them appearing. No, I don't have them. Correct. I don't have them appearing, so I won't issue money judgment.
So you will not?
Will not, because I don't think I have them appearing and I do not have personal.
You do have personal service, Judge.
I have service by attachment.
We managed to get personal service on the 30th, and that should be in the court file. I have a copy of it here. If you would like to see it.
I think my file was not updated as an amended. It was the service of the amended complaint that was personal. They didn't update my card stock. All right, then I will issue a money judgment also in that amount. It's all by default with the writ to issue in 10 days.
Thank you, Judge. May I approach on a?
May. Versus Ashley Peters. And Asia Riggs and Asia Funderburg.
Hi, it's just me. I'm Ashley Peterson. My brother and sister are not present.
Your brother and sister.
Yeah, Brian Riggs Jr. is my brother and Ayana Asia Jean is my sister.
Okay, I don't have Brian as a defendant. What I have are you and two Asias. So, all right, all right.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Noel Sala appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, NKSK Properties LLC.
All right. And
I have lost. Okay. Or at least according to my copy of the complaint, Brian Lamont Riggs Jr. is listed.
yes, you're right. Actually, there's only one Asia.
That's it.
Well, I have Asia Jean.
It's Ayana Asia Jean.
All right. They need to correct this card stock because I think I see what they did. Don't know why. Okay, I do have Brian. Okay.
This is a complaint for non-payment of rent.
Yes,
Defendants have in fact vacated the premises
they have.
subsequent to the filing of the complaint, but on April the 13th or thereabouts. I'm not uncertain.
I'm sorry.
We vacated the premises before April the 13th.
What day did you vacate?
I'll say the 2nd.
Of April. Okay. So this is just a money judgment claim.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what's the claim?
Well, the claim is, Your Honor, that there was a lease.
Mhm. I got that part, but how much money are you claiming?
Well, we're asking them, there was, for April, there was, for March, there was $1,000 owed. For April, there was $3,000, and May, because it is now May, there is 3,000. There's also a one,
Surrender, what? How long did the lease run?
the lease ran through August of 2026.
All right. And so how much are you claiming for May?
For May, 3,000,
All right, so your total claim is 7,000?
plus there's a water bill of $1,001. And that was also included in the rent, and I have to print out from Pittsfield Charter Township.
Okay, we can get to that. I'm just trying to figure out what your claim. Okay, so it's a water bill. You basically had 7,000 in rent, $1,000 and some, a little over $1,000 in a water bill. What else? Is that
220, we did not claim for property damages, and we would. So the only thing in the supplemental complaint was for the rent, the contractual rent.
all right? What's your position on this?
Well, I was actually proud. And I won't say exactly the words that he said to me,
Who?
the landlord, actually. But, I had for the month of March, I had told him earlier in December of 2025 that I wouldn't be able to make the rent every first of the month. And he said, okay, that's okay. We talked verbally because he had came by 2 weeks ago now. He said, okay. And I said, eventually I may have to move out and break the lease. He said, okay, make sure you give me a 60-day notice and blah, 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 blah. Well, blah, 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 blah is make sure you give me a 60-day notice and or something, whatever. So we got that done. And all I know is from that day forward, he had been basically harassing me about the rent. And I told him, you'll still get your $3,000. I just won't be able to pay it on the first like I was because I had help from my citizen. Now, prior to March happening, I had sent him a couple of text messages about things that were failing in my house, which is like the draining. When you turn on the shower, you could hear draining in the master bedroom. You could hear it in the living room, and other things of sort. As far as the bathroom, other issues, faucets and stuff, it was just basically maintenance that was pushed off and ignored. But he had ended up texting me or contacting me and telling me that somebody will be by to look at it. So this particular day was had to be like March 27th.
Okay.
26th. So around that time, I was actually I had to take my kids to Chuck E. Cheese for one of their signals.
Hold on a moment. So you're claiming, before you get into everything, you're claiming that you don't owe this money?
Yeah. I'm claiming that I don't owe them.
Okay, and your basis for claiming that you don't owe the money without going through the whole story is what?
Well, in the month of March, I gave him $2,000. Earlier that day, we had an argument because he had sent, basically he sent.
Well, I think they're agreeing to that because they're only saying 1,000 for that month.
The 1,000 and the other 4,000 that they're talking about. I don't know why they're even claiming that because after he told me and cussed me out and told me to get my things, to get my children and get out, I did that within the same week I was going.
When did that happen?
March 22nd. He cursed me out. I asked him why. He still came by, picked up the money with his wife. And I proceeded to ask him, like, what was the issue? Because I didn't do anything but put in a request for my home to be fixed and looked at the things that were falling apart. And he called me on my phone and said all types of belligerent things, calling me names and told me to get my stuff and get out. Therefore, that same night he came by, picked up the $2,000. I went online, found me in the house.
Got it.
I was out before then, I signed my lease and everything, so I don't have to pay. Oh, and as far as the
Did the other folks leave also?
Other folks left before.
Or you?
For before Christmas and I let them know that. That's why I said, don't know how we're getting their half of the rent.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you. So counsel, I mean, basically what she's saying is effectively evicted in essence from the premises already. Your client resorted to self-help in terms of evicting her from the premises.
I don't think I heard that, Your Honor. She volunteered. I don't know the details of the discussion between the two of them, and I will have my client testify as to that. But that's not a constructive eviction when he said he asked for 60.
If a landlord goes by, tells you to get out, threatens you, calls you names, and you vacate the premises, that certainly can constitute a constructive eviction. I'm not making that finding. I'm just saying that's what she's claiming, that she had to leave. Yes.
Right.
Please. Your Honor, this is,
My name is Majid Kahala. I'm the landlord. So I got everything, between me and Ashley. We never called on the phone except one time, and I got it recorded, and she knows I was recording. She said I called her names and stuff. That's not true because I got it recorded in my phone. And she left the house and April 13th, she just texted me, your key in the mailbox. You have a nice life. Prior to this, never mentioned she's leaving the house. She said
You guys tried to re-rent the premises or no?
yes, Your Honor, we will, but there was substantial garbage and damage done to the property.
got it.
And
She left
And
everything
so-
in the house. Even, the fridge was full. Closing the dishwasher.
so we have not been able to put it back on the market yet. We do have an estimate from Nash Brothers,
Send the invoice.
an invoice from Nash Brothers Services talking about the amount of work that they had to do in order to clean up the
Where's
property.
that from?
Nash and
Nash and
Brothers,
Brothers.
dumpster rentals, snow removal.
Have they been apprised of that?
No, Your Honor, that they've not, because we do not have any, other than a telephone, we were not given it a forwarding address. We don't know where to forward anything.
I get. She was picked up.
So there are additional claims other than this $8,000?
Yes, there will be additional claims for property damage. Your Honor.
So when are you going to have that number?
The number I got an estimate from the others. This one we already paid, the 6,000.
When are you going to have the number for the total of your claim?
I got them.
We could have it within 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Court has set a final settlement conference on this case for June 2nd, 2026, 9 a.m. That's in person. The other parties need to be here also because I guess they were under the lease on this. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Peninsular Place versus Keebaugh Henderson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Rebecca Austin for plaintiff.
Hello. Keebaugh Henderson. They are not checked in. Would you like to take a default, counsel?
Your Honor, this again is the gentleman who serves in the military and he was
Oh.
on training at the last hearing. And I will tell you, since we were here last on April 24, we did receive $2,000 that I think Mr. Henderson had been waiting for. unfortunately now May rent is due, so I don't know what the court wants to do. I mean, so he now owes May rent. I don't know if you want me to dismiss and refile for May, but then he's gonna incur court costs again, or if you just want to adjourn this maybe one more time and we can kind of get to the bottom of May rent, because that's really all he owes at this point.
Apologize, this defendant emailed me earlier today. He was getting on to Zoom.
Did he say he was deployed someplace or he was having problems?
He just said he was unable to connect to Zoom today. He didn't give any other reason.
All right. I don't know if you heard that, counsel, but he contacted the court, said he's having problems getting online with us. So why don't we try to get May straightened out? Let me adjourn this to the end of the month, May 29th.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. What time?
May 29th, 2026, 12 noon.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend.
All right, you do the same. Is that it for you, Holly?
That is it for today.
All right, very good. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Town Center Place versus Viola Hines.
Good afternoon, Judge Mark Wasbury for plaintiff.
And I have counsel, I don't know where he is, Alex Henry, is supposed to be here with legal aid. I've been emailing him since last week.
You say Mr. Henry representing you?
Mhm.
Did he say that?
He sent me an email and asked me, did I still need his services? And I told him, yeah, I called him this morning and I emailed him this morning and I didn't get no response. Because of legal aid, they don't have walk-ins anymore. You have to call. And he said he was gonna help us get the other documents that she need. They sent her birth certificate application back. Social Security closed the week we was gonna go, open back up this week. And I had no money to catch the bus. So he emailed me on the 28th, said he was gonna help us. And I have this I gave to her.
Hold on.
Regardless of the documents, it's true, they do owe us some documents. I think the last time, a couple of weeks ago, you ordered Ms. Hines to pay escrow. That was a problem. And my assistant called the court 2 days ago. It was not paid. She's paid nothing since November. Now, of course.
I didn't get my check. They, FIA said I had to turn a statement in, so Social Security put a hold on it until they recalculate, they said, because FIA paid, Department of Human Services pays my Medicare premium. And so she said she needed 2 statements from Chime. And I emailed her that, and I've been calling them every day.
When are you supposed to get your check?
As soon as FIA releases it, they do their part. And Social Security, I called them yesterday, and they said as soon as they get the paperwork from FIA saying that they're gonna pay their part.
Well, Judge,
But I have 280 on the 27th.
I'm going to assume that this court did question her on the funds last time we were in court, and I think there was a representation that she would be able to do it. And even before we started this case, she hadn't been paying her rent. Last time she paid was November.
Yep.
So that's an
You contact legal.
I should have paid it.
Mr. Henry.
I should have paid it, but they refused to fix anything in my apartment.
Pardon?
They don't want to fix nothing in my apartment.
Okay, Ms. Hines, I can.
And I can't reach out to
Hines?
agencies because I don't.
Hines,
think.
Ms. Hines, I may be able to get to all of those issues, but you've got to put the money in escrow.
I will.
When is it going in? Because you told me before you were going to pay it in.
The 27th. I'll put it in there.
Well, you were supposed to pay the 280 on that day.
Yeah. Yes.
But what about
I was gonna try to give the 1,500.
Pardon?
Got my check because I get 1164.
Pardon?
I get 1164 a month, and then when my daughter-in-law, my nephew's girlfriend, give me 280, I was gonna put that with it.
Ah. Is that the other occupant?
But I don't have no thing for court from the court to get help from the agency.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't have no court thing saying that I got all that money. I filed for FIA.
Complaint, Ms. Hines.
Huh?
Who have you tried to contact?
The SER with FIA. And they sent me a letter back denying me, said, because they had I didn't have no documentation to send in showing that had to go to court for it.
You had to send them your complaint.
It's not on there.
What's that on there?
My writ?
Termination, Judge.
He's bringing me,
So,
taking me to court for something else, not writ.
right, it's for termination, but should be able to get something from your landlord. This is what I owe.
Okay,
But
yeah,
but
they wanted
okay,
something for it.
got a document. You can submit that to.
Okay,
Yes.
I will do that.
Okay, but still, is it just you in your apartment?
Me and my nephew, he's on my lease, and then,
All right. So that'd be only about $520 of this.
right.
Okay, so Ms. Hines, what do you want to do with this case? Because I'm not.
I want to get it paid. I want them to fix everything in my apartment.
Okay, we'll get to that, but you're not really doing what you need to be doing on this case.
I know, but I will. I just been stressed out.
Okay, everybody's stressed.
Yes.
So when are you going to get them to document? My understanding is there were some documents of Social Security, some other things that they.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When are you going to get them the documents?
We'll have them by the 27th, the attorney. He's working on it now.
Who's working on it?
Alex Henry with Legal Aid.
Oh.
And you've not heard from Mr. Henry?
No, I don't know why a lawyer is needed for financial documents.
Well, I don't know that I question that. I just need to know, did legal aid give you advice or are they going to represent you?
He said he was gonna represent me.
All right, let me pass this briefly. I'm gonna have my staff check because that puts me in a different posture if she's represented. I'll call you right back up, Ms. Swan.
All right.
Got it in front of me. Haverhill on Clark versus Sylvia Amory Brewer.
Ms. Haddad was speaking to tenants in the site.
So she's gonna be working with tenants.
I believe so.
So,
That's all this.
that's all that. Okay.
I left him a voicemail. I sent him an email. Did I miss it? Just pass for me.
I
Try to get-
tasked to keep trying to see if he's representing her.
Okay, then I'll.
Lori Anderson versus Armani Lyman.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Andrew Cates, P792 for Lori Anderson. I am standing in for the attorney of record, Sam Jarbo, this afternoon.
I have two cases, 0547 and one in 1281.
Okay, Your Honor, we were only going to address 547 case. My client has informed me she dismissed the other case.
She's dismissing the health hazard.
Yes.
The case is dismissed without prejudice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, on the other case, this is a writ hearing. I received how much money's been received by your client?
Your Honor, to date, my client has received $7,600 toward the judgment. There remains a balance on the judgment of $4,107.37.
But has she, when you said toward the judgment, How much monies has she received since the time of the hearing?
7,600, Your Honor.
All right. Miss Lyman has sent to the court, and I can show you this to the council, that she was admitted at U of M. She asked for court to adjourn the matter. I didn't receive a communication from them, but she sent a picture of the wristband showing that she was admitted to the hospital. And if you want to see that, you can. As proof. So I have some difficulty proceeding forward. Are you available next week, counsel?
We can be, Your Honor, yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to grant the adjournment. I'm going to adjourn this matter to May 15th, 2026 at 2 p.m.
That was May 15th at 2 p.m., sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right.
This is no concept. I guess it's examining.
Mary Queen versus Michael Vaughn. Yeah. So I printed it out. It was 13, right? So they had about 20. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. State your name.
Christine Schutz for Mary Guinan.
And he's on my sheet. Okay. All right. Vaughn, state your name, please.
Michael Vaughn.
All right. So how much do you have owing it?
At this point, I have $903.96. He did pay the rent. He did pay $500, but I would also like to put some things on the record that I think are relevant to this case.
Okay, but you, okay. The amount you say he owes at this point is $903.
Yes, and 96 cents.
Okay. And 96 cents, you said. Okay. What did you want to say?
First of all, we are a family. We're not a business. This is a cottage that we rent that my dad built. Back in September, Michael Vaughn was kicked out of his cottage by his girlfriend because she was squatting. I said, that's not possible. She's not on the lease. He said, well, I'm afraid to go back in. He filed a PPO. In the PPO, he puts that she stole my keys and broke in. She spit in my face, throws stuff, pulled a knife, hammer, chopped, ripped.
I'm going to stop you. I don't know what that has to do with this case.
It's because I just found out she's living with him again. She's back in the house. And the whole point was that she planned on squatting, kicked him out. This is domestic violence. I'm afraid for his safety. I'm afraid for the property of our
Okay, but ma'am, I get all that, but that's not what's before me.
I know, but I just don't want something to happen. He's supposed to be out June 30th. I want to make sure he is evicted by June 30th. So this squatting or whatever he plans on doing doesn't happen.
I can't do anything about it.
Okay, well,
That's not jurisdictionally before me.
well, then I want to keep this case going until the lease is.
Well, if he pays it off, it's going to end. But
Hasn't-
I can't just keep it going.
Right, but he had,
Filed a non-payment of rent case.
right, and he owes $903 at this point.
All right, Mr. Vaughn, when are you going to pay the $903?
Okay, so my plan was to pay another 500 within the next 2 weeks, because it's going to take me 2 weeks to get paid again. And then by the 1st, I planned on paying the remainder along with the June rent.
And also I gave him an eviction notice for the lease ending, and I want that on record.
Did you apply to SOS? So you have a map referral was given to you on April 6th. What came about from that? Mr. Vaughn?
Okay, there was a little lag there, but I think I heard you. I did apply SR. I got denied.
Okay.
I submitted
And
my
then-
income. It says I could. Because they
You
didn't,
applied
they wanted
through
verification.
SOS?
That was the reasoning.
Okay. So when are you gonna get this 903 paid?
Yeah, I did. And Hawk, and then that'll come in on the 1st. In 2 weeks, I planned on paying 500 more towards the back rent. And then on the 1st, when I owe June rent, I plan to pay off the remainder along with the June rent.
All right, maybe I'm gonna leave
We
it
get
up to
paid
you.
every 2 weeks.
This out to the 29th if you want to try to keep this thing going, or actually adjourn it into June. I don't care.
We can,
Or or I'll issue a judgment. What would you prefer?
well, I guess I want to make sure that I want him out June 30th at the end of the,
Ma'am, that's not before me.
I know it's not before,
What do you want me
I
to,
wanted to continue.
pardon?
I want to make sure we,
I'll adjourn the matter to June 5th, 2026. We don't have the 5th. Wow, June 12th, that's fine. June, 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Are you ready to put it back then? We'll see where we are. Thank you.
Thanks, Your Honor.
She's still dealing with Town Center versus Riola Hines recall.
Mark Wasbury for plaintiff.
Ms. Hines, Mr. Henry has indicated to us that they are not representing you.
Oh. He told me he was when he emailed me.
Ma'am, I'm telling you, have my email copy.
I need to call him.
No, it says I have spoken with Ms. Hines in the past, but not heard from her since April 28th. I do see she reached out by email this morning, but unfortunately, we don't have availability to enter her case at this time. So they're not representing you.
Okay. Then no. So can I,
They're seeking to terminate your tenancy because you don't have the stuff to them.
right. I have 280 on 27th, another 500 on the 1st. I try to get more and go reach out to the agencies.
But this is, there's documents you're supposed to provide to the landlord.
Yes,
Haven't given those to them.
right. And she said before she let me get evicted, she would leave, find somewhere to go. Stacy.
Do what?
Stacy Stieford says she would find somewhere else to go until she got all her paperwork.
Who is Stacy?
My nephew's girlfriend. They
So
come from Oklahoma.
Well,
Yeah, says she will.
when is she gonna move out?
She'll have to move out, say next week. She says she'll find somewhere to go.
That's very
Because
wicked.
she don't get her check till the 27th.
So it doesn't, I would ask for a judgment. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's any progress here. She's admitted the unauthorized occupant is living there. Unfortunately, this is not the first time we've been way behind on rent with Ms. Hines.
termination case, so I'm gonna find that at this time, there's no tribal issue. I'm gonna issue a judgment for. I'm gonna make the writ date. I'm gonna do it this way, Mr. Frey. I'm gonna make the writ date extended to May 29th, 2026. I'll set a hearing on the writ that date. So we're just gonna do this all in one fell swoop. Will be done. That will be at 12 noon. Ms. Hines, I can't make it any clearer. I'm issuing a judgment. You'll be evicted after the 29th.
If I get the,
Supply all the documents to the landlord.
okay,
They need to be supplied to them. I'm giving one more shot. That'd be the hearing date on the 29th.
okay,
And your rent needs to be caught up and your balance at zero. Otherwise, I'm letting the writ go forward.
okay, thank you.
Judge, may I present a judgment? Thank you.
Thank you. I've signed it. Say the 8th. All right. Are the rest of you guys with Haverhill on Clark? You guys? Are you with Haverhill? Everybody's with Haverhill? Well, you guys are quite a motley crew. Look at all of you. Okay, because I've got to take a break at the 15 at quarter after and leave. So I'm trying to figure it. She had one more person in there she's doing.
Yeah.
But I'm only going to be off for about half an hour. Okay, here's the way I'm going to do it. You guys can like it or not. I'm going to do it this way. I'm running the place, right, Alan?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Here's you can. I'm glad everybody agreed because if you hadn't, I got problems. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back at approximately 2:40. Is that going to be 2:45?
That's when it comes to you.
Yeah, 2:45. And then I'll hear your cases. Okay, folks. Apologize about that, but things happened during the day. I got to get to this one thing. Okay? All right. What? Hold it.
This courtroom hearing starts quietly. Discussions about rent payments, deadlines, and possible dismissal agreements. But within minutes, the judge reveals something much bigger happening behind the scenes, a housing crisis that's affecting families across the entire county. At first, the lawyers discuss a possible deal that would delay eviction proceedings until August if certain conditions are met. On paper, it sounds simple enough. But then the judge suddenly opens up about the reality the court is now facing. My head is still about to explode. The courtroom becomes emotional as the judge explains that emergency housing funding is rapidly disappearing. Programs that once helped struggling families pay overdue rent and avoid eviction are running out of money faster than expected. And because summer is approaching, the situation is becoming even worse. The judge explains that during winter months, there are usually more protections and emergency resources available to stop families from losing their homes. But now, the court may not have enough funding left to help everyone who needs it. Suddenly, this hearing stops being just about one tenant or one landlord. It becomes a painful reminder of how many people are one missed payment away from losing everything. Then comes the moment that hits hardest. The judge openly admits that under normal circumstances, the court probably could have found assistance to help cover the unpaid rent and stabilize the situation. But now, even the court itself feels trapped by shrinking resources.